Hello everyone, welcome back to AB-Aquariums. Just a quick one today. Just wanted to go over what I think is the best fish for beginners. I mean, you've probably said this one a million times, but they are just great. The Betta Fish, or the Siamese fighter, that they seem to get called in the UK quite a lot, or a fighter. A lot of people seem to call them a fighter over here, whereas in the US I think you just call them Betta. But yeah, no, these guys here, I mean, they're cheap to get hold of, they're easy to care for, and they're quite personable. Well, very personable really for the size of them, compared to like a neon tetra or something like that. They're a lot more, one-on-one personable. When you go to feed them, they can see that you're going to feed them. They'll come up for a pellet at a time. You could even drop one pellet in and they'll come up for it right up to the surface. But yeah, I know it's obviously they're just wanting to be fed, but having that little relationship with them, it matters quite a lot when you're new to the hobby, because it really gets you, it sucks you in, it sucks you right into the hobby where you've got that personal relationship with your little aquatic pet. And as you can see here, they're always moving around. They're not, they're not as active as like a Danio or something daft like that, but they're fairly active enough. They're just great colours. Look at the state of this fish here. I mean, this is just a basic, Betta fish. That's just a very standard. There's so many varieties. I'm not really good at knowing what the varieties are, but this is the standard one. So it's like £10 to buy a fish like this. You don't need a massive tank for them. This is a 5 gallon or 20 litres. So it's not a massive tank, but it's ideal for a fish like this that doesn't really move around a lot, and they don't really like a lot of strong flow. So I've just got the double sponge filter in here, which I just do need to get a bit of the algae off because it started to come back again. So that's another thing I have to pull out. But yeah, no, they really are, easy to care for. You don't need a massive tank. You don't need a lot to care for them, really. I mean, I've just got some gravel and some stones, like rounded stones, because you don't want anything too jagged for them to catch their fins on. But I've even got a piece of lucky bamboo in here, which is basically a Dracaena plant that roots quite well in water. But yeah, no, they're quite cool to grow out of out the water. And some Java fern, which again the algae's sort of covering that, which isn't ideal. A little bit of Anubias. I like to use slower growing plants now, because fast growing plants are you're always trimming them and always having to pull them out. Unfortunately, the duckweed has made it in here, so it does, with the bubbling from the filter, it does sort of end up on the side of the glass. I have to clean it off now and then, but it's not too bad. With that bubbling going on, you don't really get a total coverage on the surface, so it's not too bad. But yeah, no, these are great fish to care for, easy to look after. Take normal tropical food, tropical pellets, flakes, no problem. Frozen food, cyclops, brine shrimp, anything like that. I keep ram's horn snails in mine. They don't eat the snails or the eggs. So your snails might get out of control if you do feed them quite a bit, but you can always pull them out and put them in another tank, or feed them to a fish that does eat them. Like my clown loaches love them, so I feed them to the clown loaches when the snails get a little bit heavy in here. But sometimes the pellets and frozen food make it down between the large bits of gravel, and you can't always expect him to eat it all. So the snails eat it and reproduce, but what do you expect? One of those things. So yeah, there you go, Betta fish for you. Let me know what you think in the comments, whether this is fish you've ever kept before, whether it's something you consider as a newbie. Yeah, they're very common. You can see them anywhere, and you can see why they're common. I mean, they're just a stunning looking fish, aren't they? Anyway, I'll see you on the next one. Take care.